by Blount County Partnership. It's the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Murphy Bobcat SEC Notebook with the Tony White in our rafters. Tony White. We're trying to get you there in Thompson Bowling Arena, but just know that you're in our rafters, and that's what matters. That's really the big achievement, so don't worry about any of that other stuff.
I appreciate it.
Dwayne Easter, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Donnie Moore. And we're talking about, the debacle that happened yesterday, and we'll get to that in just a second. Next, Donnie Moore will announce high school scores from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty, features Heritage Softball. Then Marcus will unveil the Anderson Lumber Company High School Player of the Week, and we'll discuss all the happenings at the state tournament over there in Murfreesboro right now. Donnie Moore and the panel discuss sports headlines from around the country before the Boyd Sports Spotlight shines on the SEC tournament and some other national headlines from around college basketball. And finally, the panel gives their shelter insurance bold predictions for the week. And now it's time for the UT Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Murphy Bobcat SEC Notebook, featuring Tony White, Dwayne Easter, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Donnie Moore. Once again, I'm Troy Provo-Heron, and
are you sure about that?
yeah, I am. Well, the last time I did this, I kept saying Mike's name wrong because it's on Mike here on the script, but I've since corrected my past
So everybody
mistakes.
watching live on YouTube can check in. Mike did not have his hair dyed. That is Troy.
Yes,
That's
Mike,
right.
Mike Edwards is not here, recovering from a medical procedure. We wish him all the best,
Yes.
and hopefully he's back
We
next
told
week.
him to not work so
It
hard
is.
in the weight room, and
It didn't
no.
work. It didn't work. And Tony, I want to start with this. It's a real simple question. I don't have a letter rip. I'm not Mike. I'm not that creative. But I guess my opening question is kind of a letter rip. What happened yesterday?
We just didn't show up. I'm just be honest with you. You know, we have trouble playing teams that have a big that can score, and you know, it just they just pushed us around. We didn't show up. I just think that, you know, it's easily to hunt, but yesterday we were to hunt it because, you know, we're the champions. So, you know, we got to come out and you know, throw the first punch and you know, play. And we just got pushed around. I mean,
And several punches thereafter.
yes. I mean, you know, it's just that, you know, you're the champions, and so like everyone's
Yeah.
going to be after you. Period. You know, so we just didn't come up with we didn't match their intensity because their lifeline, it was on the line last night. You know, and so you know, they just proved to us that you got to come and play every night, period. That's it.
For those who in Tennessee who live under a rock and missed yesterday, Tennessee suffers a 73-56 loss to Mississippi State in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. A grand opening, grand closing showing for Tennessee after having the double bye after winning the regular season championship. And Marcus, is it more disappointing Tennessee's performance yesterday because Mississippi State did beat them in the regular season, kind of had some ability to get some revenge, end their season last night, and obviously not only failed to do so, but like Tony said, probably just didn't even show up to play him yesterday.
Well, Tennessee had a whopping case of whatever was going around the top seeds yesterday.
A lot of them.
Because you see Tennessee look bad and lose. You see Auburn look really good, but you saw South Carolina look extremely bad. I don't know if closing it from a 40-point loss in the regular season to a 30-point
They
loss
got a little
in
bit
the
better, about 10
tournament.
points better.
But, you know, and then you've got Florida just running over Alabama again, putting up, you know, triple digits again on the Tide, second time. And then Kentucky just didn't. Kentucky had the exact same problem Tennessee did. They did not look like they wanted it. They didn't defend, and they got beat by an A&M team that did want it. And the thing that was in common is A&M and Mississippi State were both on that bubble, both fighting to make the tournament field. And if you look this morning, it looks like State's done the job.
Yeah,
They're showing up in that last four in, and A&M has moved up to next four in. So there's a lot of hunger there, but I mean you've seen flashes of it this year, especially with A&M's State, Ole Miss to a degree. There is so much parity in the probably 9-1 in this league that if you don't come up with your A game, if you coast, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened yesterday. For whatever reason, Tennessee coasted in, and now they're coasting back to Knoxville. And, you know, there's probably 5,000 tickets available for today's semifinal if anybody's interested for that one.
Dwayne, Tennessee could have used a Tony White yesterday. I mean,
sure.
and broadcasters, I dislike when broadcasters do this because they try to make a lot of somethings out of nothing sometimes. And if you watch that game and had the volume turned on, all the broadcasters said is Mississippi State's doing a great job playing defense. They're doing a great job playing defense. I don't know how many missed wide open shots Tennessee could have had if they tried. I mean, Mississippi State didn't play good defense. Tennessee just couldn't throw it in the ocean if they were standing on the beach.
They seem like they were more aggressive than Tennessee. Tennessee, I don't know, they just played lethargic. Like even our guards, you know, they just didn't get after it like I thought they should. So, I mean, you can't come out, you know, like Tony said, you got to just come out right off the bat, and they didn't. So hopefully Connect can get back to scoring some too. I don't think he got. How many did he get yesterday? Is it four?
He didn't touch the ball a whole lot.
Well, I think he was under 20% the first half.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
it was
it's like-
it was
pulled
like
him
2 of
because he wouldn't
10,
play
2 of
defense.
11, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You know, they
mean,
just played aggressive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, of course, if they know they can cut the, the head of the snake off, and you know, nobody else is going to follow, so they just they pushed them around, you know.
But Tony, how much do you think? Like, my trend looking at it is it's not so much the guards is what's been the key element, but when Adu is in single digits, Tennessee does not do well, and
True.
he had a terrible game yesterday.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're
He
big.
got pushed around.
He got pushed around. I'm talking about, man. He you know, they pushed him around, and so you know, we just have to fight. I mean, it's the effort. You understand? I mean, you know, you can play the game, but it's your effort. You know, just because you run up and down the court, that don't mean nothing. It's the effort and the intensity that you play it at, and that didn't show up. That wasn't a Tennessee team that I'm familiar with.
plus big guys too. They don't need to be dribbling the ball down low. Either you shoot it or you pass it back out. You don't drill it down low. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of things yesterday. It just didn't look good. And they were shooting good. That guard for Mississippi State was on fire.
Yeah,
They
and
was
then
shooting.
also they had I think the three player. I think he went 7 for 7.
7 for 7, Matthew. Yeah.
All drives.
All drives. He was
Yeah.
dunking on everybody.
Yeah. I'm just saying all drives. So you know, it was just, you know, that's what we known for, our defense,
Yep.
not what Mississippi
Yeah,
State
what
did
they
to
did.
us. Yeah. So you know, it was kind of frustrating.
They just wanted it more than we did. That's
True.
the bottom
true.
line. I
That's
mean,
the bottom line.
Dwayne, to answer your question, Dalton Connect 14 points on 4 of 17 shooting, a really uncharacteristic performance from him. But I just think, for me, offense, you missed some open shots. That happens in basketball. What's
Right.
more concerning to me is that, and the broadcaster said it early in the game, they said Tennessee's a team that isn't offense sensitive. And by that they meant when shots aren't going, they still defend at a high level. That
Yeah.
didn't happen yesterday.
No.
They were
No.
really bad defensively. I mean, Mississippi State's not a good offensive team by any stretch of the imagination this year. Their stats show it. And they got anything and everything they wanted yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was just so
Even
concerning
even
for me.
Ziegler seemed like he was a little bit off yesterday too. He didn't seem quite as aggressive. I don't.
So, Troy, are you more concerned? Because if you can look at that, there are bad matchups in basketball.
Yep.
Mississippi State is a bad matchup for Tennessee
It is.
for several reasons.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more matchup, or do you think Tennessee is riding a champion wave and hasn't played well the last 2 games since they clinched the regular season?
Yeah, I'm okay with being open to the fact of Mississippi State just being a bad matchup, and that's fine. I'm really concerned about this defense the last 2 games, and like coaches always say, you want to go into March playing your best basketball. Tennessee plays its best basketball when it's really good defensively, and to give up 90 plus to Kentucky on your home floor on senior night, that's not good. And then to turn around and let a mediocre at best offense do what they did to you yesterday, that's concerning. Especially now in the fact that you're looking at they're going to roll into the first weekend of the NCAA tournament having played 2 games since March 9th.
Yeah.
And they're
Well, Mike
both gonna
Edwards would be
really
happy.
bad taste
Mike's
in their
at
mouth.
Mike's at home saying, you know what? They've saved their legs. They haven't played defense since back in February. They're going to be fresh for the NCAA tournament. They didn't have to play a semifinal. They didn't have to play a championship game. They're going to be rested.
And here's another concern I do have with the offense, and it's look, this is easier said than done. And Tony, you can weigh in on this, but this is easier said than done because I think State found a formula for defending Tennessee yesterday. I don't think every team that Tennessee is going to play is going to be capable of this, but if you double Dalton Connect when he touches the ball and deny it from him when he doesn't have it, if you're able to stay in front of Zakai Ziegler and you're able to be physical with Jonas Adu, they're a completely different offensive basketball team. And again, that's a lot of ifs that a team has to accomplish to slow down Tennessee. But Mississippi State did that yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, they did. And
I like where this is going.
And that's where we got to have our experienced players.
Yeah.
Triple J and Vescovi.
Took the next question right off.
Well, I mean, I'm just reading it because if they doing all that, you got guys who've been here 6 years. 6 years. I mean, playing in the top level here. They have to step up. That's the experience. That's what's been carrying us along all this year, and we just got to do it now in March.
We need to see them
Like they
knock
were-
it down.
Like where they were at Kentucky the first game.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
yeah,
need to see
yeah.
them being that
Yeah.
third option to knock it down.
Right.
Because, like you said, Drew, not everybody has the personnel to do what you just described.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when that happens, and people are going to try to replicate it.
Oh,
I mean,
exactly.
a good coach who's watched Tennessee film is going to try to replicate what State did, or maybe replicate what Kentucky did, which was basically the same thing.
Yep.
But you've got to have that other option. You've got to if you're doing those three things, you have two spots that should be open to score, and
Exactly.
those two guys have got to be it.
They got to be it. I mean, that's it. I mean, you know, that's simple. I mean, that just lean on our experience. I mean, they've been here. They've been playing good ball for us and continue to play. So, you know, we need them.
A combined 4 points from those two on 1 of 11 shooting, 0 for 7 from 3.
Wow.
But you can't flip the switch. I mean, that was a concern we talked about mid-February.
Yep.
You can't just rule them out of the offense.
No.
If you don't touch the ball for 6, 7, 8 games, really. I mean, since the first Kentucky game, are you going to be able to step in and take over?
No, and this is no diss to Jemai Mashak, 'cause I think he's a fabulous player. If Jemai Mashak is Tennessee's third leading scorer in a game, things have gone terribly wrong.
Or terribly well?
No, basically it's like this. If you score, keep him in the game.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it's like, hey, sit someone down. If Meshack scoring, let him play.
He got as many minutes as Vescovi did yesterday.
Well, I'm
so
just saying, it is what it is.
Yeah.
when you add this to Kentucky, Marcus, if you're Coach Barnes, how do you go about trying to get this thing fixed before you get into the thing that now, fair or unfair, I know you just won a regular season championship. They won the SEC tournament a couple of years ago, coming off a Sweet 16 season, but fair or unfair, and sometimes this fan base chooses to be a tad unfair, this upcoming tournament is what this whole team is going to be judged on. It's what people are going to remember, especially given some of the struggles they've had in March up to this point in Barnes' tenure. If you're him, what's the message to the team to try and get them to fix
I love
this
how
thing?
you're asking me this. 3 coaches at the table, including you.
Yeah.
And you asked the reporter.
Yeah. I just want to maybe an outside perspective.
I don't think it's up to Barnes. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
up to players.
leaders on the team that's been there a long time.
Go back
They
to
need to step up and just have their own little meeting among themselves and say, look, some guys are going to have to step up and just have a heart-to-heart, because this is it. I mean, this is once you're done here, you're done. So you want to leave on a good note, and you want to give it 110%. You want to look back and say, man, if I just played a little harder, maybe we could have gone a lot farther, or maybe even won it. So you don't want to have any regrets. So I think it's up to the seniors,
The 6-year guys.
the 6-year guys, to get in the locker room by themselves without Coach Barnes and just tell it like it is.
Tony, you're going to go over there and have a conversation with them before they leave for wherever they get
Yeah.
placed.
I would like to. I I was just want to go there and support them and everything, because it's, this is it. I mean, we got the making, everything has been going well all year. The guys been playing hard, and so but this NCAA tournament, I think that they got to lay everything out on the line and just play. I mean, just have fun. It seems like we're not having fun. We're not energized or anything. I don't know what it is, but when we when we played on the road, I mean, we beat who was that? We beat South Carolina on the road. And, we had those 3 games. Alabama on the road.
South Carolina on the road. Auburn at home before that.
Did you see the intensity? Did you see the incitement?
Yeah.
We got to get back to that. We didn't have it against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, when we played them at home, we didn't have the excitement. The guys were just having fun. Everybody was, loose. But it seemed like I don't know. Like you say, we're just showing up and not playing.
It's like they lost that contingent, that whole we're out to win it. It's like suddenly we're the champ and now we're just going to sit back and take it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You got to have that hungry.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not sure how you recapture that, but I'm also not sure it's not okay. I'm not going to push the panic button because Tennessee has so much capability.
Right.
They may get dinged for it tomorrow when the brackets come out. They may have dropped to a 3, but
they dropped to 2.
They'll drop to 2.
They definitely dropped to 2.
So where will they be playing probably?
Well, look, if they drop to 2, hey,
Charlotte.
Hey,
Memphis, Memphis or Charlotte, probably. Yeah.
It's better than California. I tell you that much.
and if I'm the selection committee, I'm thinking that's not a bad idea right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it helps when you get people in those arenas. Because you hate watching these tournament games where they can't even fill the bottom section behind the bench.
Yeah.
Those just look like horrific games. And not to pick on anybody, but some of those that we've come out of Vegas this week, it's looked like it's Vegas and the seats are empty.
That would not be fun playing.
I'm like, nobody could get off the strip to go watch the game.
You're right.
Absolutely,
and to y'all's point about, not feeling like they went to Nashville with the intention of winning the whole thing. I think of something Armando Bacot said, and I was watching North Carolina last night, and Armando Bacot before the game essentially said, we didn't come here for any other reason than to be the ACC champions. We did it in the regular season. We want to back that up and do it again in the tournament, and then we want to be national champions after that. And I think that's the mentality you have to have when it gets to this point in the year. And I think, unfortunately, I didn't see that from Tennessee yesterday.
No.
I think a lot of people didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I didn't.
I was totally shocked.
I had money on Tennessee -10. I threw that bet slip away with about 8 minutes left in the first half. I knew that thing was over.
Okay. But no, they'll get it together. I mean, this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. So, I don't think it's on Barnes. I think, Barnes and his staff, I think they have the right scheme, to win. They've been doing it successfully all year. It's how we got to play, It's how we got to play. Yeah.
Tony, let's try and make a positive spin on this. And Marcus mentioned it earlier. They are going to be well rested for the NCAA tournament.
Well, true.
Do you think Barnes is going to run them quite a bit after this game? Or?
Well, Barnes old school. That's all I'm going to tell y'all. Coach Barnes old school.
Dwayne, I've been to. As a former reporter, used to cover Tennessee. I've been to a lot of those practices. I've seen a lot of guys run a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
A lot of stairs.
Especially.
And then I've seen a lot of guys run to trash cans.
Yeah.
Especially what you put out in Nashville? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. The juices weren't flowing last night. They got to get the juices flowing again.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm quite sure they're going to have the juices flowing before the NCAA. I'm quite sure.
Oh, yeah.
I have faith in them.
So, Tony, is there a benefit to going into the NCAA tournament not only rested, but like you said, you don't even have the option of really having to go out west anymore. Now you're probably going to be playing either in Memphis, in Charlotte, more local, less travel. Are those things that – yes, yesterday was disappointing, but Tennessee can kind of hang its hat on in a positive spin and say, well, at least we got some positive things out of it. Not saying that losing's ever good, but
right. Well, I wish you wouldn't have asked me that, but to be honest, but it's more so that maybe they have the time to regroup, instead of just sliding by
Yeah.
the games, winning, and then it hit us later. So now it's done hit us twice. So they can be more focused on what they got to do. And I think that, hey, you could put that on that, but it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me, and we've mentioned it a little bit about just not really feeling like they showed up to win the tournament yesterday, but like all those guys, for the most part, obviously you take Dalton out of it and Jonas and some of the younger guys, but like Zakai and Santi and Josiah, all those guys, they were a part of the team that won it 2 years ago in Tampa.
True.
And so those guys know what it takes to go and win 3 games in 3 days. And so I don't know what the disconnect there was from having guys who have been there, done that before, and then not having that this time around.
Well, I mean, like I say, it was a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, they took the first punch. I mean, it was a big one. We never did recover. No, really.
Staggered.
We was like, and about time that we realized we was down by 20, it was like, hey, Mississippi State, they just felt that, hey, this is our game. And we never did compete as in leading them, put the pressure back on them. They put the pressure on us. And that's how the game went yesterday.
It looked
That's how it went.
it looked a little bit like how I think Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson is going to
Oh
be. in
yeah,
a couple
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was kind of like once we realized like, wow, we're really in the game. We're down by 20, and so we spending our effort trying to get back into the game, and they just playing real free because they never had that. What you're saying that we never did punch them back and let them realize that, okay, wow, Tennessee's coming back. Put the pressure back on them. They never did feel it yesterday.
Yeah, but they had a small glimpse of it at the end there when they were down 22 or something, went on that 10-0 run,
Right,
but it was way too little, way too late at that point.
Exactly.
But Mississippi State came right back, and they'd hit threes, and we'd make some points, and they come right back. It didn't phase them much at all. They're like,
Well, we didn't make them feel uncomfortable.
no.
Never did.
Never did.
Couldn't
And-
hit an open shot.
And without, but still,
Yeah.
even before with our defense, we made them feel uncomfortable. I'm just saying, through the whole season, even though we wasn't scoring, we still made them feel uncomfortable. We didn't do that, and that's the nail biter right there. We got to make people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I can only remember one other time that I've seen a Rick Barnes team just give up constant straight line drives to the basket, and it was in Rupp Arena a couple years ago when Kentucky scored like 110 points on him and shot like 70% from the floor.
Yeah.
That's the only time that I'd ever seen a Rick Barnes defense just look so unwilling to defend.
Well,
That was tough.
very tough.
Donnie, and we talked about this a little bit before we went on air, but it is March. As I mentioned, there have been some program
Indeed.
struggles around this time of year, some disappointments that I think the fan base still harbors to a certain extent. Is there reason to be concerned?
Well, if we hadn't seen this before,
Yeah.
I would say yes. Well, and on the other hand, if we hadn't seen this before, I would say no. But it's the time where we have to get this fixed.
Yeah.
And if we don't get this fixed, we're going to be taking our final flight back to Knoxville.
Yeah.
And the season's going to be over, and for a lot of our basketball players, the career's going to be over.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a new team to deal with next year. And so, of course there's cause for concern.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's cause for concern.
Yeah. I would like to think that as a 2 seed. That's
I mean, I'm just saying.
I would like to think as a 2 seed.
Saying
Tennessee
it like it is,
Tennessee can handle
It
its
is what
business
it is.
That's right.
against whatever 15 seed it's going to get matched up with. I'm not necessarily sitting here saying I think Tennessee is going to sit here and lose in the first round and the city's going to burn. I don't
No,
think that's going
of
to
course
happen. But then you start getting into those second round matchups and that Sweet 16 matchup, and I think and again, fair or unfair, but the way this team has played all season, and there's every team that I think Barnes has had that's been really good has had brief to maybe moderate glimpses of, oh, that could be a Final Four team. I think this team has had the longest stretch of, oh, this could be a Final Four team of any of Barnes' teams. And so, again, fair or unfair, that's the expectation that you've set on yourself by the way you've played. And I think as a player, as a coach, that's kind of what you want to happen, right? Like, you want to play really well and have people believe in you, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So, you were looking at me, and I'm like, I'm making sure I'm not saying anything wrong here.
No. I'm
Okay.
like, yes,
So
of course.
that's the way you want to
I mean-
play. And so, again, fair or unfair, that's the expectation kind of going into this thing as Elite Eight Final Four. And
I mean,
You
come
can
on
sit
now.
here,
Look, we got all conference teams. I mean,
Yeah.
we got
All
all conference players.
Yeah.
Okay? We got all conference
a
players.
National Player of the Year candidate.
We lost only 4 games in the regular season, right? Was it 4 or 3 games? Regular season.
4 in the SEC, I think.
4 in the SEC.
Yeah.
A tough SEC.
Yep.
We only lost 4 games. So we put the expectations on ourselves.
Yep.
They did.
Yep.
And because that's how they playing. So they got to continue to get down. You know, it's like I say right now, it's down to the nitty gritty. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I'm going to throw the damper out there. No SEC team has made the Final Four without making the conference semifinals.
No, thanks, Marcus. That really makes me feel really good.
In the years that they've had a conference tournament, that doesn't cover the years where we didn't have a conference
makes you
tournament.
feel really
Bring that
good.
historical perspective in here,
Hey.
Marcus.
We're
gonna
going to
be
be
the
the
ones.
first. We're going to be the first.
There's faith.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
There you
we're
go.
going to be the first.
Marcus, I was hoping to end on the damper note. So now that you've added in, I'm going to end on this. Rick Barnes in his coaching career in the month of March, or I think this might be at Tennessee, in the month of March, 42, 65, and 4 against the spread. And I granted
Against the spread, that
Against-
only affects people like who have
like
problems
me,
like you.
But it is more widely telling that they underperform in situations that mean something. Whether it be you are a 15-point favorite against UNC Wilmington and win by 2 and give
Just win,
everybody a
baby.
heart attack.
Just win.
I'm just saying.
Just win.
Or
What's
it-
up with this spread,
or you play
Hold
or
on, a
you
W is a W,
or
right?
you play FAU in Madison Square Garden last year and you
Oh,
lose
man.
to the FAU
Man.
Owls. And that's a good basketball team,
Man,
but Tennessee should have beat them.
Vegas done messed everything
Until-
up, man.
until-
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody wants the spread. Man,
Everybody
you,
wants the spread.
L is an L, a W is
Is
a
a W.
W.
That's
There
Until
you
the
go. I don't care.
NCAA admits its colors and moves the headquarters to Vegas,
true.
we're not going to
That's
worry
true.
about that.
Nah, I ain't worried about the
we'll
points.
focus more on Marcus's damper.
The NCAA store at the MGM Grand Casino.
See, they losing money on the points. I just want to win.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Well, it's time to turn the page. Next up is the local scoreboard and mark it down featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093. We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Oh, you like the chicken?
Welcome back to Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Troy Provo Heron along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And now it's time for the local scoreboard, sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty, brought to you by the one and only Donnie Moore.
Wow, what a build-up. I don't know whether I can live up to that or not. We shall see.
We hang the bar low, Donnie.
Good. You pick the low-hanging fruit, huh? All right, here is our local scoreboard, sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty. And it's kind of sparse today because nobody.
It was spring break.
No, it's spring break,
Yeah.
and there's not a whole lot of games going on, but also nobody posts scores during much.
Those tournament
So-
scores don't always make it to
No,
Coach
the
T.
tournament scores don't make it to our posting boards much. But last night, yesterday in high school basketball in Class 2A was the state semifinal basketball games down at MTSU at Murphy Center. Alcoa at 25-13 played Ripley at 27-8, and man, this was a barn burner. It went to overtime, and Tornadoes were victorious 69-64 in that overtime contest, and earned the right to go to the finals, the state finals, today at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Eastern Daylight Time, that'll be 4 o'clock Central Time, local time down there in Murfreesboro, to take on Douglas, a Memphis school, who is at this point, Marcus, 36-0 on the season.
Make sure I'm right on that. No, 35-0.
35.
I told you
okay.
wrong. They're 35-0.
35-0.
They came in 33-0.
Yeah, they did. 35-0. That's a fairly decent record for the season.
Have
wouldn't you
not
say?
lost since they lost to Alcoa on the buzzer beater last year in the championship game.
So this is a rematch. Douglas will be looking to upset the Tornadoes. I don't know whether you'd call it an upset or not. Alcoa is 25-13. Douglas is 35-0. So I guess you'd have to consider the Tornadoes an underdog coming into the. Of course, they're the defending state champs, so I don't know whether you would or not.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't professional sports. It's not.
It
and
is.
it's not college. So you've got you've got big pieces that graduate every year, and you've got new kids that come in every year, and it's not. I mean, every team is new, and while Alcoa has doing some of the same things with Javin Carter, who had a great night, 40
I was about
points
to
last
say,
night.
Alcoa has Javin Carter.
They
They'll
do.
be all right.
And I'll tell you a little
Not
more
worried
about
about
him in a little
But
bit later.
It's
So
going
good,
to. If you were asking me to tune in, I would. The 4A game with Independence and the 2A game with Alcoa and Douglas, I think, are going to be the ones you want to watch today, and they are on local TV.
It will be today on Channel 7 cable, WKNX, later on at, like I said, at 5 o'clock.
So listen to us, but you can go ahead and turn on the 4A game because I think they're tipping at noon our time and 11 a.m. Central.
Cool. That Dwayne says that their record is probably a little bit better. Yeah, because football players come in and always help them out. They do indeed. Douglas defeated Whites Creek last night. Whites Creek had a record of 25-6. Douglas beat them 67-39.
And that's misleading too. White Creek actually led that game in the first half.
Uh-huh.
it was a close. I mean, I want to say it was maybe a 7-point, 6-point lead with 12 minutes to play, and Douglas flipped the switch, and White Creek, I think, scored maybe 6 points the rest of the way.
Gotcha. So a little closer game than the score indicated.
It was a good game early.
Yes.
It was not a good game late.
All right, Tornadoes versus Red Devils today at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So tune in to that one if you can. Let's move on to a little bit. Don't have many scores to give you, but Thursday night action in baseball in the Playing for a Cure tournament at Alcoa. Alcoa versus Concord Christian. The Tornadoes are undefeated so far, I think.
It's spring break week. It's
It
early.
is. It is real early. But they beat Concord Christian 15-2, and William Blunt shut out Concord Christian, that same team. Of course, they had to play twice in that day, but they were shut out by the Govs 10-0.
And, I'm going to give some credit. I'm not sure who organized it, but putting the Playing for a Cure tournament during spring break week, I think, and they've got multiple sites running, and you've got a lot of teams involved.
Yeah.
And
It's also at Jacksboro, by the way,
and I think
and other venues
yeah,
as
there's
well.
I think there's at least four venues that come to mind. But teams can come in and they can play like all 5 days. There's some of them only playing 2 or 3, and there's some that are doing what Concord did and coming in playing 2 teams in a doubleheader type of situation. It's at a good time, and given the vagaries of the spring season, which we're going to talk about a little bit, it seemed like a really nice idea that has worked out really well, given they got to play 3 or 4 days before we had weather get involved, and I think they're making that up today. I think they're playing some extra games today on the schedule to make up and close that out.
Yep, weather's always a factor in spring sports, I know.
But don't forget, Maryville also played this week.
Okay.
Maryville boys were in the quarterfinals.
They did.
of state.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
We'll go and talk a little about Player of the Week, but they went out in the quarterfinals 70-60 to Cookeville.
Cookeville beat them.
And it was that kind of opening round for East Tennessee. They went 2 for 6 in the quarterfinals on East Tennessee teams.
But
only ones advanced for Alcoa and Fulton.
But Blount County well represented in the state tournament.
Indeed.
They sure were. We'll talk a little bit. We coming up in our Mark It Down segment, which Marcus always does such a great job with.
Oh, he's setting me up.
Yeah, sure am. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We got some softball action coming up. Heritage Lady Mountaineers in the house. Coach Jeff Sherman and his crew. So, Meigs County in the Tiger Classic. William Blunt was played in that. Heritage always action in spring break. They always tune up. It is busy. It's a busy week for all our local teams. But that'll just about do it for the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard. And I'm going to lob it over to Marcus, and he'll smash it across the net.
Smash it across the net.
That's right.
Okay.
So Marcus, it's all yours, my friend.
Volleyball's in the fall, right?
I'm going to take the mixed
tennis.
I'm going to take the mixed
tennis,
metaphor and run with it. How about that?
Tennis works. You're right.
Yeah.
That's on me.
But we're kicking off spring sports. We are finally out of the winter. We're going to start off where
Knock on wood or something.
yeah. But we have
just jinxed it.
Coach Jeff Sherman is here, and he's brought a couple Lady Mountaineers. Season is a little bit older than we thought it was going to be, given some of the changes last-minute changes by the TSSAA. But still getting started. And kind of look ahead, and he's brought a couple Lady Mountaineers. So, Coach, introduce who you brought with you, and then we'll give you the hard questions.
Okay, all right. To my right is Kenna Hicks. Kenna's a senior, she had to sit out last year with an ACL injury, so she's returning back to play this year, and we're excited to have her back on the field. And then to her right is Izzy Hayes. I think this is Izzy's 3rd time on the show with us, and she's also a senior pitcher outfielder.
Well, seniors are a good thing, right?
Yes.
So
always.
Let's start with that. What does this team look like, and what have you kind of built around? Because I can guess some of what you built around because of who you got here.
We're a work in progress right now. We graduated 4 kids last year that had started all 4 years, 3 years. Sorry, they had to miss their freshman year because of COVID. So they started 3 years. 3 of those were outfield for 3 years, and the other was our shortstop for 3 years. So we're kind of feeling our way right now, trying to figure it out. And with the changes that you mentioned from TSSAA, and we have some crossover sport girls at basketball and wrestling. So we're just getting girls back on the field in recent weeks. So we're still feeling our way, but we'll be fine.
You hit the one that, if you weren't aware that in December, after schedules are pretty much set, if I'm not correct, Coach,
Yes.
they added a week to the season at the beginning that overlaps with the girls' state basketball tournament.
Yes.
Which is not real helpful for a lot of the softball teams. The fact that we're already with basketball extending into the state tournament right now this week, it's not helpful for a lot of the baseball and soccer teams. So the overlap is not helpful. So the extra week wasn't exactly something that most people could take advantage of because you already set. You already knew what your schedule was.
Right. We had our schedule set by November for the most part.
So it doesn't exactly help, but it could give you some time to scrimmage if you could throw something together, sort of thing. But it's still basically a practice week this year, so it worked out.
Right. It was. We had a game scheduled and it got rained out, so we did move one of our games to that week, and it didn't occur. So it didn't really help us as far as moving games and spreading games out across the season, across the schedule.
So you've got let's say it's a new district. Is
Yes.
that what we're going to?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that because we've spent years talking about the district of death for just about every sport over there in 4-4A.
Yeah.
But now you get the joy of playing people you haven't seen all that much in the last few years.
District 5 AAA. We've played Sequoia. We play Sequoia just about every year anyway. Our middle school plays Madisonville, which feeds into Sequoia, so we're pretty familiar with them. Lenore City used to be in our district in District 4, the old District 4. So now we're back with them. The other two, we've played South Doyle, but it's been several years, and I don't know that we've ever played Loudon in a regular game.
I was going to say, Loudon, I don't ever remember that. I remember when South Doyle was a part of it, but you've got to go back 18,
That's
20
a
years
long time,
before
yes.
when they were part of that district. So a whole new set of opportunities.
Yes, we're excited. We're still going to play our old District 4 opponents. Feel like that's good competition. We finally got to the point where we felt like on a level playing field with Farragut. Last year we basically split with them, 2 and 3. So we want to keep that alive, and I feel like that's really, honestly, one of our rivals, with William Blount and Maryville included. So we want to keep that one alive for sure. But yeah, we're going to play them. But we're looking forward to competing in District 5 too.
Well, I'm going to pick on your pitcher a little bit.
Go for it.
You get the chance to throw to some people who haven't seen you for 3 years throwing the ball. You're going to be kind of fresh. Is that an exciting opportunity for you?
It is, because even though we played them in high school ball as well in our old district, I played them in travel ball as well too. So they see me so many times throughout the year, and so it's gonna be fun to see a new set of batters.
Is it a bit inspiring seeing what some of the basketball teams were able to do with this district, and both of them come away with regular season championships? Does that kind of give you all some a goal to meet there?
Yeah, it does. We really want to try and make a state run this year, and our girls basketball team was able to. So let's see what they did this year.
So, Coach, you got 2 seniors here. How is this team comprised? Or is this you graduated a lot? So are there a bunch more seniors we didn't have microphones for? Or is this a sophomore heavy team? What does it look like?
It's pretty much even across all 4 classes, 4 or 5 kids in each class. I think freshman class may be a little larger, sophomore classes maybe 6. It's pretty even. We try to keep it that way for continuity. But, I wanted to mention Izzy. You talked about Izzy. She was District 4 4A Pitcher of the Year last year. So moving down to 3A, real excited that opportunity for her, and then getting Kenna back. Kenna,
Well, she didn't lick her lips, but I think she wanted
yeah,
to.
she's a little bit excited. They're both excited. And Kenna, after having sat out, she was all district for 2 years, and hit 360 her sophomore year before she went down last year with a knee injury. So, we're excited about this opportunity, but we also know that we're going to get everybody's best shot. They've seen what we've done. They want to knock us off. So we'll take it.
What does it feel like to be back?
It was a rough journey, I will say, and it just makes it even more special to be back with my girls for senior year.
So, were you able to watch and participate at all last year? Were you able to hang out, or was it pretty much a rehab type experience?
It was all rehab. I made it to the first scrimmage of the season and then went down and then had to watch from there out.
So, Coach mentioned your batting. Is there some angst, ready for some swing, ready to get some of that energy out after not being swinging really for a year?
Yeah, it's been a real rough start, but it'll get there, and just gotta work the kinks out a little.
So, as a team, what are you all feeling like? What is, as you mentioned, state, but what is it you want to see yourselves accomplish this year? What's the goals?
Well, I want to see us all come together and mix well as a team, one game a game, and just all make it to that state tournament.
Coach, it's occurred to me when we've been talking basketball for weeks now. It feels like it's a never-ending sport sometimes.
It is a never-ending
sport. No offense to Tony down there in Troy, but it feels like it starts in June and ends in May. But in softball, you have that unique thing that you don't have a go-to player. You can't just say, okay, give the ball to so-and-so.
That's correct.
You can't call play for somebody. So there's a whole different mindset because it's whatever the order is in that situation when you're behind, and it's whoever your pitcher is in that situation when you're ahead. How do you approach that mentality? Because, everybody else is talking in this situation, I think we're going to throw it over here. And you don't have that.
No, we do we scout the other teams in terms of their hitters, and so kind of we want to know how to pitch them. And Izzy gets a scouting report. Our catchers get the scouting reports. Ken is one of our catchers, so they get to see how we want to approach the hitters, and then we try to chart the opposing pitchers as well to see how we want to attack that. But really our goal is we've preached this for years. We want to own second base. When we get on, we want to be on second base. That's scoring position. And the other team gets on base, we want to keep them from getting to second base, keep them out of scoring position. So that's kind of our mantra. We work hard at that, and hopefully we'll get there. We're, again, like I said, we're a work in progress. We're still figuring things out offensively, but we'll figure it out by the next 3 weeks. We'll know what we're going to do and who's going to be where.
Well, I've noticed one thing on your schedule, and we'll give you a chance to explain this, and then I'm going to ask the girls about what they think about it. You've got these Friday triple plays,
yes.
I noticed.
Yeah.
And what it looks like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're going to play a team, then they're going to play another team, and then you're going to close off the night playing that other team, so we get 3 games.
That's correct.
Everybody gets a doubleheader out of it, but you all get the brunt of it playing early and playing into the night.
Y'all like playing late?
Yeah.
They like that 9 o'clock game.
So I just thought that I had not seen that concept on anybody else's schedule yet. I haven't looked at all of them, but where did that idea come from? And
from the district tournament 3 years ago, where all the games ended at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've got to credit David Allen. He used to coach at Maryville. He started doing that, and he said, "Hey, you need to think about this. This is a great idea. It's not a tournament, so it just counts as 2 games. You basically play a full game. We go 7 innings or 2 hours, and we try to get the best competition we can to come in. If you notice, one of those Friday nights is Farragut and Gibbs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pretty good competition. We try to make it. I think it prepares us for the postseason, as Troy mentioned. I don't know that that's played a big role into it, but I'd like to think that it's had an effect, that we've played those late games and played that competition on Friday nights. And they come and play for free. They don't pay anything. They just pay gate admission, and then we supply the game balls, pay for the umpires. We get some sponsors to help us out.
It seems like a great approach, and it accomplishes a couple things, like you said. But from a player's perspective, starting your Friday night at 5 o'clock and maybe finishing at 11 o'clock on the same field, does that sound fun, or is that just run of the mill because you do that all the time in club ball?
I mean, it is fun because the night games are just so much more fun. We play our best game at night, always, never fails. And it's really fun to just play different teams on the same day and just see how well we all work as a team together, too, and play different players in new positions and stuff.
And I guess that was one of the things that I would guess in those situations it does allow you to move and play both pitch and play outfield, or both catch and play in the field. That it sounds like that might be a little bit fun, except for that maybe the gap in the middle where you work the concession stand. I don't know what coach has you doing there.
Get something to eat and get ready.
Okay.
Take about an hour off and then go to the cage.
But it sounds like that's an opportunity to do some things that you don't normally do during the regular season.
Yeah.
Is that? So y'all looking forward to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm building some momentum for
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We need a little juice.
The other one that kind of pops out in my mind, you got a whole bunch of new set of travel. So, do your bus drivers know how to go to an away game without getting on Pillsbury Parkway?
That's a good question. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to go down I guess we'll go down through 21 a lot this year. I don't. We'll figure it out. Yeah, they're fine. I mean, a lot of games we carpool. I mean, South Dole's 7 miles, so we'll carpool to that one. We won't take a bus. Lenore City will have to bus, and Loudon will have to bus. Sequoia will probably bus because it's a pretty good haul down there too. But yeah, we've made that trip to Lenore City and Sequoia in last several years, so we're used to that one.
So I'm going to give you time to do some shouting out here.
Sure.
Keeping a field going, keeping a program going, keeping everything staffed. You got people and parents. And,
oh gosh.
that are gearing up for the season ahead. So who do you need to give some shout outs to, including assistant coaches?
Yeah. Well, first my wife for putting up with it. She's coming over to help with concessions some, and she helps. She'll bring food for the girls occasionally. And it's Kenna's birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Kenna.
Happy 18th.
Yeah, happy birthday.
But assistant coaches, David Irvin, he's been with me since probably my second year at Heritage. And then my daughter, Mackenzie, and Ashley Day. That's our staff. And then athletic directors, Robbie Bennett, also a baseball coach. But he's been real supportive about everything that we need to do to be successful. Parents, just the whole group of parents, because they pitch in and do the concessions. Take over some feeding duties, pregame meals, meals for buses, that kind of thing, and getting kids back and forth from places that we don't take a bus. So all the parents, I can't name them all, but all the parents. And, our students, they come out pretty well to support us as well at Heritage. So happy, excited about that. Hopefully they come out this year and push us on in the postseason a little farther than we've made it the last 2 years.
So is there a special training program you'll have to do with your helpers as far as directing the traffic, where y'all share that entrance and they have to come all the way? I've seen people wander around the Heritage campus looking for the softball field in their car when they weren't familiar with where they were going.
I try to send out to the opposing team, hey, you don't use the front or back gate. Use and I have to give the address of the mailbox across the street from the gate, because that gate does not have an address. So I tell them what the address is.
I wonder how long it was going to take for somebody else to figure that trick out.
Yeah, so I tell them to come in there, and you come in the gate, you're going to go to the left. There'll be someone there to direct you, though. But our ticket takers do a good job. Our bookkeeper, Leah Miller, helps us out. She keeps us straight with money. The whole bunch, the whole school community's just been real supportive of all sports, not just softball, but we're thankful for them.
Okay, I'm going to close out here because we're running a little bit short time, but I'm going to go with the players. What's your number one thing you're looking forward to this season?
I'm just looking forward to seeing how we mesh as a team and we work towards the obstacles we faced. And I'm hoping to make a state run out of it this year for our senior season. So
that's a good goal.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the same thing, really, just mixing well with the team and enjoying senior year.
All right. Well, I'll give you the same challenge we've been giving out, and it's proved fairly successful this year. You can always win your way back onto the show for another visit.
All right.
If you enjoyed it the first time. And we we always love to have people back, especially if they're getting ready for, the state tournament or they're coming back with the state championship trophy. We love to have those on the show.
Yes.
So if you need incentive and coach,
We'd love to come back for that.
I know challenging teenagers to come do this so they can get up early on a Saturday morning and hang out with a bunch of old guys at Blue Ticks is always an incentive. But
Hey, I'm not old yet.
No.
I'm getting there, but I'm not there. I'm not there yet.
I see gray hair, Troy. But anyway, thank you all for coming in.
Yes, sir.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Troy, I guess we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Indeed, we'll take a timeout here. And when we return, Marcus Fitzsimmons announces the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
Welcome back to Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Troy Provo here, and it's time for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week, featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons.
Well, thanks, Troy.
Of course. You don't get a cool intro like Donnie does.
Well,
We've worked together far too long for you to get a cool intro from me.
I'm good with that.
You got to take what you get.
He's not calling me names, so that's a start.
True that.
Hey, you're not Mike.
Well, this is true. Now, I want to, our player of the week who we were going to present to could not be here, and our second choice could not be here because they're both playing for Alcoa basketball, and they both have a game later today.
Ah, yeah.
And they seem to think a state championship game was more important than visiting with us this morning.
A little more important, just a little bit.
So,
come on, guys.
What we're going to do is review a little bit of the state tournament and maybe expand on the scoreboard a little bit. But I've been down there since Tuesday. It's been a great time.
How's the food been?
MTSU does a fantastic job hosting this event, and I say that because of all the arenas you can go to, the way the Murphy Center can shut off the upper deck and make it look like it's just part of the concourse, it makes those games huge.
Yeah.
Because the bottom bowl is filled. The downside is the exact opposite of what you would expect because, and it's showing in the scheduling, but you would think the biggest crowds are going to show up for the biggest schools, these 4A games.
Always the small schools. Everybody in the
there
community.
At the Maryville's game was, now granted it was a 9:30 a.m. Eastern or Central Time start. But
Man.
Cookeville probably had the best representation in 4A. They probably had 300 or 400 people there. I don't think Maryville had more than 50 or 60, and it showed because those 400 or 500 were making some noise for Cookeville. But the volume, oh my goodness, these 1A schools, I don't know if there was a single person left to turn off the lights in Gordonsville yesterday, but they were all in that arena.
Those 1A schools, those people in those towns, they ain't got nothing better to do. We packing it up, and we are going, and that city is a ghost town.
Those
traveling, they're
those
traveling.
1A schools had the prime spots yesterday, time-wise, and they filled that place for both of the semifinals. And you could hear, it sounded like a college game because you could hear them outside. They were so loud.
Wow.
So it was a fantastic environment for that regard.
I was in attendance for when Tyreek Key broke the single game state tournament record over there at Murfreesboro. And I tell you, every person in Clay County was there in that stadium that day.
Wow.
Everybody. There was not a soul left in that county.
So the downside is MTSU is building a new facility right next door to the Murphy Center, so parking is at a premium this year. But they've got some extra lots added on the periphery, so maybe a little bit of walk. But go early if you're going to go watch Alcoa. They opened it with Mr. Basketball, and I think Donnie may have tanked on this one a little bit. He's going to mention.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it coming up in headlines.
Okay, so I'll just touch on a little bit. Was Javon Carter finally got his Mr. Basketball, which I think a lot of people felt like he should have had last year. So he was one of, by my count, there were four of the 12 were finalists last year who did not win and won this year. And I think there were two, both on the girls' side, who were finalists last year and left as finalists again this year.
Yeah.
Which was kind of surprising. Usually that seems to be a trend that if you come back as a senior, if you're a finalist as a junior, you got a pretty good chance of winning as a senior, but that wasn't always the case. But also taking the notes and when they were reading out, Javon was probably the highest scorer there for his career. I didn't hear anybody else that was anywhere near 3,000 points. So that was
We got.
I think they're fixing the audio there. There we go. We can hear each other now. So it's a good testament for him. And he kind of joked about it a little bit afterward with Coach Collins that, last year he got denied, and all he did was turn around and win the state championship game MVP award for getting Alcoa to the title game, and he hasn't let up really since then.
Yeah.
And we were asking him, well, now you've got the trophy, are you going to let up now? You've got all the hardware, and he of course said no, they were going to push on. He's still hungry for it. The notes I want to talk about, and I'm going to ask you guys if you've seen a team that plays like this, because it's been a while since I've seen one. But the Cookeville-Maryville quarterfinal, Maryville did not play a bad game. They lost the game 70-60. Played pretty good defense. One of the state's best three-point shooting teams in Cookeville, shooting something like 42%. So Maryville's defending the three. Cookeville's guards, again, they didn't really have a big man, were able to take the two steps in and pull their own version of Tony White and pull up. And this is what sticks out. The second half of that game, Cookeville was 13 of 13 from the field inside the three-point line, and 3 of 6 from the three-pointers, and 4 of 4 at the foul line. How are you going to stop that? I mean, Maryville did everything they could to prevent them from shooting them out of the game with the three, and they were hitting the 14-foot jumpers.
Mid-range game.
It matters.
and
Lost art. It's a lost
that's
art.
right.
and that can and did win that game for us.
Oh, he definitely
See?
did.
Hey, go back to old school.
That's right.
Yeah.
And like, even yesterday, I think they're in their semifinal and they won. They're going to play a championship today. They were trying to give them a little more room, so they couldn't do that again because they saw what happened to Maryville, and they still shot better than 56% for the game and over 50% from three.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is a very good Cookeville team that we were seeing, and they can really shoot the ball. And like I said, everybody in Cookeville made that hour-and-a-half drive because they were all in there.
Yeah.
They by far have outnumbered everybody, even the local schools, with the crowd they've had in there.
Have you seen Cookville's high school? I mean, their gymnasium, it's nice.
It's a good,
It's
yeah.
nice.
Putnam County Senior
Yeah.
High School. It's a nice place.
It
And
is
I
nice.
just want to give a round of applause to my good friend Wes Lambert on a great season, and I have no doubt that they'll be back next year. They only lose their two big guys, in Alex Akert and Lucas Gorman. They bring back their two fantastic guards, their district player of the year point guard and Jonathan Woodley. So their future's still really bright, and they get another year to get better and hopefully go get a chance to win that thing next year.
Yeah, and I mean, they played Maryville had an injury bug at the 4 spot this year.
Yeah.
They had to deal with. They lost not one but 2 starting 4 guys over the course of the season. And then you've got a really strong sophomore class with Hazel Baker, Woodley, and Owensby. I mean, you've got the nucleus for a very
Yeah.
good team. It's going to be a very different team, I think, because you are not going to have a true post.
You don't have the 6'10" big in there. Yeah, that helps.
But that can also, I mean, that can change. That can be a good thing because
improve your spacing a little bit, and you can do all those things. If you,
I mean, you
he's a
can
good
do a
enough
little bit
coach to
more
work
with
around
you
it.
can do more with a little bit some different things with a mobile 4 than you can do with a dominant 5.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting game to see. See what Maryville does and how they regroup. The 2A tournament, I had a chance to visit with the Frederick Douglass players after their semifinal during the break back in the media room. Guys, they are very focused on Alcoa. they weren't going to put anything on the bulletin board, but they were not going to shy away from the fact that they've spent 364 days waiting for today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would be too if you sat there and for a whole year you watched Javon Carter and that highlight of him going coast to coast on you at the buzzer last year. Yeah, I'd be a little pissed off too.
Where's that buzzer again?
Now that's focus. They're focused.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got a lot of focus. And I don't know who does their apparel. We asked them yesterday, and all we got was that some of the assistant coaches have all sorts of swag connections. I don't know how that works. But, guys, they came out with the Kevin Durant neon greens for the quarterfinals.
I like that.
And the whole team had them. Now, their colors are black and red, so green does not necessarily go with any of them without looking like you're a Christmas tree. But they pulled it off. Yesterday, they came out for the semifinals in it's kind of like somebody melted down a peep and put glitter on it. It was that kind of pink. But, wow. They were sporting those two yesterday, and they told us that the players picked these out from the options they have, and
So what they coming out in fashion? I mean, they looking good.
They're looking good. They're playing good.
And they playing good. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But they are choices that definitely stand out. I think they're the only team I've seen it so far at state that had multiple shoe options to choose from. And from what they said, it implies there's at least one more color variation in there we might see, or they might go back to the green or the pink. They weren't very clear about that. But
Well, that's confidence there.
I'll do the shout out.
good.
We were going to give from getting Mr. Basketball, getting our player of the week doesn't seem quite as good, but Javin's got enough plaques from us that over the years that I don't think you need another one.
He's got a whole room of trophies and plaques and awards and certificates in his house, I'm sure.
So we were actually looking at Jameer Dean, who had a great quarterfinal game for Alcoa, actually led Alcoa in scoring with 20, because they were really balanced in
Freshman.
that opening win. Freshman.
Yeah.
Freshman with 20.
And just lit.
Dunks all over the place.
He got the spectacular dunk of the tournament that I have seen, which was transition outlet pass that came to Javan. Javan came down the left side. He went across the lane, tossed it up, and here came Jameer down the right side, grabbed that thing out of the air and rattled the rim with it. It was a fantastic dunk. He's also clanked 3 of them off the back of the rim in the 2 games. And that kind of it looked like it bothered him yesterday, but he came up with the big play at the end of in overtime. It was 62-62. You need a big play in the overtime because we're about midway through. Went to overtime at 58. Javan has matched them with 2 buckets. So you got about midway through, 2.5 minutes to go. And they went back to pressuring the ball. And Eli Graff put that pressure on, and Jameer was able to come up with, take that pass out of the air, go the other way with it, did not try to dunk it. He confessed that he was not going to risk it. Went up to got the contact, got the layup, hit the free throw, made it 65-62, and put Ripley in the place where they had to foul, and Alcoa was able to seal at the foul line with some clutch free throws. But we'll see what he does today. But it's been a tremendous state tournament. We've seen some flashes from him, but on that big stage with all those people around, for the freshman to shine like that, it's encouraging for what Alcoa is going to be able to do when Javan Carter's at Penn State next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm pulling for my fellow Alcoa Tornadoes.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
And
Alcoa's got a little more of a supporting cast this year, I think, than they had last year. Although they had some good athletes last year now.
I think if you
I
ask
think
them,
they
would
gel together as better
they
as a
would
team
have
this year.
loved for Brandon to have waited to graduate on time rather than leaving early.
Yeah.
But, I think in a way you're right. Eli Graff, we talked about this all football season. Eli Graff is Eli Graff.
He's great.
He's tough, isn't he?
And it wasn't like he splashed it up with some big numbers, but he made some really clutch plays defensively in the fourth quarter to set Alcoa up.
Yeah.
Which is not, that's just what we expect from him. But we'll see what happens today. It's a very athletic Frederick Douglass team.
Yes, it is.
And
they're
playing for the perfect season.
You don't get where they are without being a great basketball team.
So we're going to see a range of talented players on that team versus a Mr. Basketball and Alcoa's team, and we'll see what happens at the end of that today.
But big game.
Troy, I think we'll go ahead and turn the page. I think we talked enough about high school basketball for this one.
Well, it's almost over today, and it'll be it.
Well, that's true.
Season ends today.
Wow.
So best of luck to the Alcoa Tornadoes today. Bring one home back for us. It's time for a break. When we return, it's headlines with Donnie Moore and the Boyd Sports Spotlight. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com. Join us now. Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is the boy wonder, Troy Provo Heron, and here this week.
The boy wonder.
Wow. Hey, Charlie
Charlie
Palaio's listening, and I just wanted to let him know that we're constantly always thinking about our lost friend over there in Atlanta.
That's right.
So, that's the nickname he gave me when I joined the show, and I've kept it ever since.
Since he's moved to South Tennessee.
Boy wonder.
And so we're going to talk about the SEC tournament, some other NCAA stuff going on right now. But first, I wanted to give the floor to our dear friend Dwayne Easter and kind of give us an update on where we are in getting Tony White's number retired.
Yeah, it's coming along. This week we actually met with WBIR Channel 10. They came to Tony's house, and they're going to do a segment. And they stayed there quite a while, and he's called me back. He's wanting us to meet again tomorrow, but his name's Karthik Venterman. I reckon that's how you pronounce it. He's the sports director or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a long name, but anyway, he's going to do a segment, and I was going to thank Larry Henry was a supervisor at Y12. When I posted this show right here has helped us a lot. When I posted this show on Facebook, he actually saw the show.
Yeah.
And he made some phone calls, and he's actually one that reached out to them. Then they called me, of course. But yeah, y'all have helped out a lot getting the word out. And also, I talked to a guy I played high school basketball with. He lives in Arizona, and I reckon he's on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I don't know if you guys are or not. I'm not, but he said it's lighting up on there now on Twitter about Tony. So it's finally kind of getting out there. So we really do appreciate you all.
Of course.
Having us on the show, and I know Tony does too, but he definitely deserves to have it, retired, and hopefully.
Tony, Dwayne has made you the busiest man in East Tennessee.
True. I mean, everyone needs to have a friend like Dwayne. I mean, he said that he was going to get some stuff going, and I'm just absolutely just shocked of the response that, what he's doing and, trying to get this accomplished, done and everything.
And that's the other thing. I said John Wilkerson did another bit on the sports animal.
Yeah.
He did another trivia question about Tony this past week. So, I mean, that's the second time he's done that I know of. He might have done it more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, nothing gets by Dwayne. I can tell you that. No, nothing gets by. Yeah. He's pushing the envelope on this one right now. And I told him, I said, Dwayne, I appreciate everything you're doing. But, for me, it's I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful.
You deserve it.
Tony, I want to tell you something. I had some reaction from a column I put out last week. And by the way, you couldn't see it in print, but you looked at it online. We had a very sweet black and white photo of you as a senior that we ran with that online. All sorts of comments. I mean, you were good. You were going around the Vanderbilt defender, I think, and pulling up, and it was a good photo.
Okay.
But I had a lot of feedback from that. People were pointing out some things that I intentionally wrote the way I did.
Okay.
But they were under the impression that Coach Mears is like Coach Summit as far as retired with the university, and he is not. If you look at UT's page, despite the fact there's a banner up there,
right,
it is not the retired banner like Pat's. He is not retired. He is just hanging in the rafters, and they can pull that down any point they want to.
Really?
That's not there are only 4 official retired numbers up there.
Sad.
And that was part of the point of my column I was making, and it's the point Mike's been making. It is very vague how actual numbers are retired.
Exactly.
It is very vague what all the banners in there mean, because people are under the impression that if you're in the rafters, you're retired.
Right.
Some people, I had somebody ask me this, think that if your picture is out there hanging in the concourse,
right, yeah,
you're retired.
No.
And you're not. That's not the case.
No, that's just the legends. That's
so,
all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of confusion that the university, for its own sake and marketing, needs to kind of clear up. And I think putting you up would be a great first step to kind of clarifying the entire process.
There you go. Exactly.
Well,
because let's see, we put up 4 guys in 10 years, and now it's been 10 years, and we haven't put up anybody else.
True.
And that's
just
my
weird.
My first thing was who's on that committee, and when do they meet? That was my very first questions, and I still don't really know.
Well, the only thing I can tell you about Dwayne is that he did all the right things, tried to get in touch with the university, and then so they didn't respond back in time, and so he started pushing the envelope. He said, "Well, look, if they don't want to get in touch with me, well, I'm gonna go to all the airways." And I'm like, "What? Are you for real?" He said, "Yeah."
And get fans involved, that saw Tony, because a lot of people remember seeing Tony play, and of course they're older like me, and
it's been that long.
And younger
it's
too.
Been that long.
And younger too, but they remember you, and I'm hoping that they will, create some excitement about, saying, "Hey, why isn't it retired?" Just getting it out there, and you definitely deserve it.
But I appreciate the article. I appreciate it.
Well,
we did. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was a good piece.
And I'll be honest. You were on my list, and you were at the top of that list. But you're not the only one I think should be up there.
True.
True.
I mean,
that's
it's
true.
It's a lot of great players. I'm just saying that from the history. See, this is where I'm going. It's from the history. We're thinking about now, but you ain't looking at the history of Tennessee basketball.
Yeah,
and that's what's going on right now, because I was the last one that played in Stokely. So from Stokely to Thompson Bowling, now it's the Food Center, you got plenty of players that played in Stokely that is worthy of having their jerseys retired.
Is Reggie Johnson one of those people?
Yeah. Reggie Johnson.
I have Reggie on there.
Yeah. Reggie Johnson. I mean, he was SEC Player of the Year. First round draft pick. I mean, it's just the history of the Tennessee basketball, and I think that from the last game in Stokely, a lot of that just been just
and
been
the thing,
forgotten.
I remember going to Stokely as a kid, but for most people in my bracket at UT, which isn't that far behind yours,
right.
Stokely was the bookstore where you could go get athletic gear, and it was also the place where you could play pickup games.
Yeah.
And when they didn't have indoor track going on.
True.
Yeah.
But now it's not even there, so they don't. I mean,
It's a
kids
parking lot.
can't even reference what what that gym is, and I mean they in their mind, UT basketball played at alumni gym and then went over to the arena. There is no middle ground in there.
Yeah, true.
Because the alumni gym is still up.
Is it still up, the alumni gym?
Oh, alumni gym's still
yeah.
there.
Hey, I used to go to card shows in there. I saw Brooks Robinson in the alumni gym.
Oh, yeah. Alumni gym's still up.
The vacuum cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Donnie, I accidentally skipped over your headlines, and I don't want to take away your one shining moment. So I'm going to tell my
He's already had one shining
Well,
moment. He's his second shining
He's
moment.
special. He's got 2 shining moments. The song doesn't apply to Donnie Moore, but go ahead, Donnie.
Thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. Well, let's get right to it. Here are your weekly sports headlines brought to you by Fast Signs.
I like it.
Already a
we're getting
legend.
better. We're getting better.
I like it. I love it.
Already a legend. Let's start off with some local stuff. How about it? Already a legend in the state of Tennessee when it comes to coaching. Soon, former Alcoa High School football coach Gary Rankin will be mentioned among names known in U.S. sports like Bart Starr, Cheryl Miller, Bill Walton, John Wooden, Herschel Walker, Walter Payton, and more. Rankin, Tennessee's winningest football coach, has been selected to the prestigious National High School Hall of Fame as a part of its 11-member class of 2024. His induction ceremony will be held in Boston, Massachusetts on July 1st. Rankin, currently the head coach at Boyd Buchanan in Chattanooga, has 484 career wins and 17 state championships to his credit. While at Alcoa, his teams won 13 state championships and posted a record of 215 wins against only 20 losses.
Wow.
All of us at the Goatee Sports page add our congratulations to a great coach and an even better man on this special honor.
And,
Great.
you know, put that in perspective. It's not just coaches and players.
No.
In these when the National High School Hall of Fame, there's a percentage that are coaches, there's a percentage that are players. There are also spots for media and for game officials and administrators.
Sure.
So of this 11-member class, I think there's only 4 coaches involved. So, I mean, and that's nationwide.
Wow.
So of all the Hall of Fames Gary is in, this may be one of the largest and most prestigious.
It could be.
Yeah.
Gary was a great administrator as well. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is a great honor.
It is a great honor.
And we're very proud of Gary.
Yep.
Congratulations are also in order to a couple of very special Blount County boys basketballers, Caden Wendell of William Blount High School and Javin Carter of Alcoa High School. Wendell was named as one of 3 finalists for the Class 4A Mr. Basketball Award, which was presented on Tuesday at Middle Tennessee State University on the court of Murphy Center. One of the all-time greats of William Blount basketball, Wendell scored 2,000-plus points in his career with the Govs. In the Class 2A Mr. Basketball presentation, the award went to a young man very familiar to listeners of the Goatee Sports page. That would be Alcoa High School senior Javin Carter. A finalist for the award following his junior campaign, Carter, a Penn State University signee, walked away with the prestigious award this season. Coach Ryan Collins says Carter is an all-around great player, student, and young man. And by the way, he's also the Tornadoes' all-time leading career scorer. Congratulations.
And we talked a lot about Javin earlier.
Yeah, we did.
But let me say this about Caden. You know, you don't know if they're reading all the stats at these ceremonies.
And they're probably
But
not.
Of the Mr. Basketball winners and of the finalists, he was the only one I heard mentioned who averaged a double-double this season.
He did.
He averaged 28 points and 11 rebounds this
Points,
year.
11 rebounds.
Wow.
As
It
a point guard.
Yeah.
And
Point guard. Hold on, wait a minute.
He plays point guard.
yeah,
Wow.
And-
Okay.
Wow.
it was. If there were one of the classes that I was surprised at the result, that was the 4A boys was the class I was surprised at the results. That was not what I was expecting, and I think several other people raised their eyebrows. Nothing taking away who won it. Just being on that stage
Right.
is a great big deal.
It is.
But I thought Caden had a tremendous senior season and regular
He
season
really
as well.
did.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
He really did.
Congratulations to that young
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Well, Jen Powell is one step closer to becoming Major League Baseball's first female umpire. This is National Women's Month. Here we go. Powell has been named a AAA crew chief for the upcoming season and is on Major League Baseball's call-up list. AAA umpires are called up through the course of the season whenever Major League Baseball umpires are injured or on vacation. Powell worked a spring training game in the Grapefruit League on February 24th between the Houston Astros and the Washington Nationals, making her the first woman to do so since Rhea Cortesio in 2007. She is expected to be one of 9 women to umpire minor league games in 2024. So she just might be the first Major League woman umpire.
Wow.
This season.
There you go.
Yeah. University of Alabama head basketball coach Nate Oates has signed a contract extension that will put him among the 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball, according to the Tuscaloosa News yesterday. Details of the new contract have not been released yet, but Oates, in his 5th season with the Tide, earned $4.53 million this season.
How much? Say it again.
$4.5 million. $4.53 million this season.
So you're looking about $1 million or something coming up. He's
telling
going to
you.
be the highest. Show
Then
me the money.
they got drilled by Florida yesterday.
Well, you know.
There's some deep pockets in Alabama.
You better
because-
believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving him a raise. You're just paid for a whole new basketball or a whole new football staff.
Yeah.
And with some of the highest paid coordinators in the country.
They sure did. Somebody's got some dough down there.
Because they bought out 3 former head coaches' contracts.
Yes.
To join their staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, show me the money.
And they are showing somebody the money. They're showing Oates some money.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes,
I
they
didn't
are.
know there were gold mines in Alabama. Are they somewhere south of Huntsville?
Hey.
Or Oil Wells 1. I don't know. Let's do a little bit of On This Day in
Deep
sports.
pockets, that's all I
March
know.
16th. 1876, Nellie Saunders and Rose Harland were involved in the first female boxing match in New York. 1876.
How'd that go?
And there's been a lot of cat fights ever since.
I think we're going to get calls over that, Don.
We might.
Yeah, we might.
Call Goatees and ask for Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson.
1985. On this day in sports, March 16th, 1985, 2-time Cy Young Award winner Denny McClain was convicted of embezzlement and drug trafficking and sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Wow.
The conviction was later overturned.
Wow.
I remember him pitching. He's good.
I do too.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a good one.
Yeah.
1991, New York Jets coach Bill Fitch is the 4th NBA coach to win 800 games on this day. 1991, ladies figure skating championship in Munich was won by Christy Yamaguchi. Remember that name?
I remember that.
She was a good one. Christy Yamaguchi. 1994, continuing along the line of figure skating, American figure skater Tanya Harding pleads guilty to felony attack on former Olympic teammate Nancy Kerrigan. Beat her in the knees with a...
Now, that wasn't Tanya. That was her husband.
Well, she had it done.
Well, she had it done, but she didn't pull out the crowbar
That's
on
the
her.
same. That's the same.
Hire the
She
hitman.
had-
It's still a
She
crime.
pled
Marcus.
guilty to felony
I
attack.
didn't say she wasn't guilty. I was saying she's not the one that beat her.
Oh, man.
1996.
Can we go back to the female boxing?
Cat fight. 1996, Mike Tyson TKO's Frank Bruno in the 3rd round to gain the heavyweight title. 1996. Man, that's been several years ago, hasn't it? And he's going to fight again.
Yeah.
That was right before he went cannibal, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
He didn't eat the ear. See, I gotta correct you now. He didn't eat the ear. He just bit it off and spit it out.
No
That's
consuming.
That's not cannibalism.
No consuming.
That's psychotic. It is not cannibalism.
You know what? There's a synonym for a cannibal. You know what that word is? Apophagist. P-O-P-H-A-G-I-S-T.
Only you would know that.
That's
And how to spell it.
Apophagism.
Okay.
That's a synonym for cannibalism.
Let me spell that.
P-O-P-H-A-G-I-S-M. Apophagism.
Because knowledge is power.
That's
And now
right.
on with the headlines.
Okay. Birthdays on this day. March 16th, 1934. Howard Schnellenberger, born on this day, American football coach. Won the Natty at the University of Miami.
You're right.
Troy, yes.
Yeah.
1983. Troy, you weren't born, were you?
No, I was 11 years away from being born.
Okay, very good. I thought that was
Yeah.
before your time. He coached at also the University of Oklahoma, University of Louisville, Florida Atlantic University, coached the Baltimore Colts as well. Born in St. Meinrad, Indiana.
You ever been there?
I have never been there, never even heard of it. I'm sure Mike has.
Oh yeah, the gunner.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere.
St. Meinrad, Indiana, died in 2021. Rest in peace, Howard Schnellenberger.
Wow.
Pretty good coach. 1954, born on this day, 70 years old, Hollis Stacy, an American golfer. Participated in the U.S. Open in 1977 and 78 and 1984. Born in the town of birth and of our good friend, the Swamp Rat, Dewey Warren, Savannah, Georgia. I need to give old Dewey a call. I've not talked to him in a long time. How you doing, Dewey? If you're listening, hello. Dewey and Kay, great people. 1956, born on this day. That's my year of birth. 1956. Ozzie Newsome, American tight end. Played college ball at Alabama and played for the Cleveland Browns. He's 68 years old today. That tells you how old I am.
There you go.
Yeah. Ozzie Newsome. 1961, born on this day. Mel Gray, American wide receiver and kick returner. Played for the Houston/Tennessee Oilers.
Yeah.
63 years old.
Oh yeah.
1994, born on this day. Pretty good basketball player, Joel Embiid.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
He's a Cameroonian basketball player. Played for Philadelphia 76ers, still does.
Yeah.
Born in Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Okay.
It's an African country. Cameroon, an African country.
Oh yeah.
1994. Death on this day. Died in 1972. Guy by the name of Pie Traynor. Know that name?
No.
American Baseball Hall of Famer, third baseman. Major League All-Star in 1933 and 1934.
Was he a fan of pies?
Well, since this was close to National Pie Day,
It passed.
14, yeah, the 14th was National Pie Day.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy.
I missed that.
P.I.
You get a lot of good pizza and pie deals on
Yes,
Pie
you
Day. It's
do.
the
Oh,
only
really?
reason I know about it.
I wish I'd known that.
Trainer went to the World Series in
Was pie
1925.
different then? Like, was it a different value that he was born today rather than 314?
Well, hey,
I
I'm
can't answer
starting
that
to eat some pie now.
He went to the World Series in 1925, played for the Pirates, and managed the Pirates from 1934 to 1939. Died at the age of 72.
Huh.
That's all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you, as always, by our friends at Fast Signs. Whoosh. Now let's dial the Boyd Sports Spotlight into razor-sharp focus. Back to you, Troy.
Yep, and we only have a few minutes left, so we're going to just I'm going to talk about the SEC tournament a little bit. We're going to start with how it opened. Vanderbilt erases a 7-point deficit with 2 minutes left. They go to overtime. They lose to Arkansas. Jerry Stackhouse cleans out his office and he goes home.
Yeah, he does.
It's the way it goes sometimes. Marcus, thoughts on Stack leaving Vanderbilt 1 year after being named SEC Coach of the Year, by the way?
That's what bothers me is, I mean, not to quote Ray too much here, but, you know, the outhouse to the penthouse and back and forth is very, very short trip.
Yeah, I've heard Ray say, "What have you done for me lately?"
And
that's what he says.
But then again, Vanderbilt has
I
had
thought
terrible
that was
season.
Janet Jackson.
A terrible season.
I mean, if it wasn't for Missouri, you know, that's all they've been able to point at. So
they're just that's such a tough program to.
It's a tough program. It's a job that's only going to get worse.
Yeah. As
And
the money floods in, they're not going to value
They're
it.
not going to be able to compete. They're going to be lucky to hold on to the baseball program, competing at a high level. But as long as Vanderbilt's going to operate in this manner, it's not going to be able to compete in the SEC in most sports.
Yep.
You're right.
And
Absolutely.
So that happens. Thursday kind of goes a little bit chalk, not a lot of surprising things. And then yesterday happened. We've already talked about Tennessee's dismal performance. And then that was followed up by South Carolina, hoping that they could do better than their 40-point defeat at Auburn, and they turned around and got beat by 30. And maybe, you know, we talk about
See, now you should have betted on that one.
Styles make fights.
Yeah, but you should have betted on that
I should
one.
have. That one's sweat free. That one, when you're watching that game, Tony, that one makes you feel real good. You don't have to worry too much about it.
I got you.
So if Styles make fights, South Carolina don't want to see Auburn anymore. They've gotten taken into the dark alley way too many times.
True.
Well, like I said with the Tennessee game, this quarterfinal round was just matchup-wise awful. I mean, top seeds got teams that gave them problems in the regular season, and they got to see their worst nightmares again in the quarterfinal round. And the margin yesterday was one of the top 5 largest ever for an SEC tournament quarterfinal round.
Yep.
And
wow,
that just kind of
sums it up.
It was just not a day for the top to be a good team.
Yeah.
And the night ended in Nashville with, and the old saying goes, defense travels. Well, unfortunately, Kentucky and Alabama have had no defense all year, and so they took the trip to Nashville and gave up 97. Kentucky gives up 97 to Texas A&M. Alabama gives up 102 to Florida. And now the SEC tournament is looking like
they're traveling.
They're not going to.
They're traveling. They're traveling back home.
The SEC tournament. If you are an SEC tournament official, you're not happy with any of those results because ain't going to be nobody in that stadium these last 2 days to watch those basketball games.
No.
It was a thinly veiled plea from Bruce Pearl yesterday's presser.
Please come.
To, hey, there's tickets available. Y'all get on the road up here.
Yeah, we need you because if not, we're gonna be able to hear a pin drop in that place.
All the Kentucky tickets are gone.
I'm gonna ask a quick question real quick because we won't be able to pick it today with the game still going on the way. Which one of these 4 teams wins the SEC? Tony?
I'm gonna go with Florida.
I'm gonna go with Florida. Okay. Dwayne?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Marcus?
I'm going to go with the top remaining seed that's playing well. I'm going to say Auburn.
Donnie?
I'm picking Kentucky.
Kentucky's out.
Oh, Kentucky's out.
They lost
That's
to
right.
A&M.
They lost out, did they? That's right.
Yeah.
They're traveling.
You can't pick to Kentucky.
Right.
You can't pick to Kentucky anyway, even if
Kentucky
they were
on the road.
Then I'm going to say
Auburn, A&M, Florida, Mississippi State.
I'm picking Auburn.
I'm going to take Auburn as well, and I honestly think that it's going to get ugly for the 2 teams they have to play the next 2 days. They're going to beat them like drums.
I'm trying to tell you now.
That's the kiss of death. Can I change my pick?
Hey.
No, too late.
Hey, Florida's playing well.
They
Very
are.
well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Florida is playing well.
They got the height. They got the big guys. They got the guards. So I'm just saying.
Well, we got more games to pick, but we'll do that after a break. When we return, the panel presents Shelter Insurance Bold Predictions. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Troy Provo-Heron, and it's time for the panel Shelter Insurance bold predictions this week. And for a lot of conferences, it is championship day. Get to hand out some trophies, get to watch some teams cut down the nets, punch some tickets. The SEC will wait for that until tomorrow. But we got 5 games on the docket. I have a 6th one if we need it, if we have some time to fill. But the first one we're going with is the Big 12 Championship. Iowa State versus Houston. Houston, the number 1 seed, the number 1 team in the country. Houston is a 5.5-point favorite. We're not going to pick the points, but for the people listening, I'll let them know.
Oh, you snuck that in, didn't you?
The game will be played at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Tony White, Iowa State, the Cyclones, or the Houston Cougars?
I'm going with the Cougars.
Cougars.
The Cougars. Gas to go. They're
Dwayne?
just
Houston,
too tough.
yeah. Houston. Yeah.
Defense, man.
Marcus. Marcus is going
I'm going to go with Houston as well. And I think, what a great way to introduce yourself to the rest of the conference.
just
Hey, we're
dominate.
here. Let me take that. That's nice. That's a nice looking piece of gold.
Regular season champ, number 1 team in the country, tournament champions.
They've been on top all year.
They've been on top all year.
Yeah.
Donnie.
I have to go with Houston.
Okay. Well, now you guys give me a choice because we're going to go straight across the board, and we're going to take the Cyclones. I like the Cyclones. They
You're
are
just
good.
only taking the numbers, man.
Look, the Cyclones. The Cyclones are a good basketball team. They're coming off a big win against Baylor yesterday. Baylor's a good basketball team.
Yeah.
But I agree with you guys. Houston's the better team.
He almost talked himself out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
He almost talked himself out of it.
Houston's the better team. They're going to win the game. Yeah.
This is why there are men in trench coats coming around looking for you at night.
and I, for anybody else, I would take Houston with the 5.5 points.
See?
I would take Houston with the 5.5 points too. I would.
I already know.
All right, next on the docket, the Big East Championship. Marquette, 25-8 right now. UConn 30-3. UConn's a 9.5-point favorite. The game will be played at 6:30 p.m. on Fox. UConn, if it hasn't been Houston on top of the AP Top 25, it's been UConn both those teams for the most part all season. If I'm not mistaken, the last time these two played, UConn either got drubbed or gave the drubbing. I can't remember which one of those it is.
They drubbed Marquette
They
about a
drubbed
week
Marquette,
ago, I
okay.
believe.
Yeah.
And so you get a rematch here for the Big East Championship. And Dwayne, I'm going to start with you. Marquette or UConn?
UConn.
Marcus.
I think it's a terrible matchup for Marquette, but I'm still going to give them the upset bid. I'm going to give them some life.
Okay. Donnie?
I hate to, but I got to go with UConn.
You don't like UConn?
No.
Why not?
Because of their women's coach.
This is men's ball.
He's
I
still
don't have nothing to do with Gino.
He's still.
I don't like Gino.
He's still back in the day.
Gino won't even be there.
with Pat Summitt, so he don't like it.
I don't like him.
Tony.
Well, you know, hey,
Marquette or UConn?
it hurts me to say, but I'll go with the Huskies.
Okay. I like the Huskies as well. I'm leaving you on an island here, Marcus.
That's fine. I'm used to it.
I like the Huskies. I personally think if I had to pick today, UConn is the team I'd pick to win the national championship. And so, with that said,
Well, I don't know. They haven't got the spread out yet.
I don't care about the spread.
Oh, now you want to win.
Here's the thing, right?
Go ahead, talk to me.
So,
talk to me.
When this tournament starts, I'll bet a lot of money on spreads, but I'll also bet a lot of money on who has the best bracket.
All right.
I got
okay.
I got my money working for me in a lot of different fields, Tony.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. You got a plan.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. You got a plan, y'all.
All right, we're moving on to the ACC Championship. North Carolina State currently sitting at 21-14 on the year versus North Carolina after a big win over Pitt that essentially ends Pitt's season last night. They're going to be on the bubble, having a very stressful Sunday tomorrow. North Carolina sitting at 27-6. They are 10.5-point favorites, and the game will be played at 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. Marcus, North Carolina State or North Carolina?
You would start with me on this one.
Well, I've started with Tony, then I started with Dwayne, then I started with you, and I'm going to start with Donnie on the next one so that he
I'm
can
going
be
to give you
prepared.
my reasoning.
He's going with Big DJ Burns.
The Vols have played both these teams this year.
Yeah.
They beat NC State.
Yeah.
They wilted against UNC. As much as the words burn in my mouth to mention the baby poop blue, I will go with North Carolina.
Okay. I like the baby blue. The powder blue is sweet. Donnie, North Carolina State or North Carolina?
I got to go with the Heels.
He's going with the Heels. Tony?
One thing I can say about this one, I'm going with the Heels.
Oh, come on.
I got to go with the Heels. I mean, you know, it's just that they've been on top all year. But I'm kind of scared because, you know, they got the big fella, DJ Burns from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Chris Lowe, native guy. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good competitive game.
Dwayne?
North Carolina.
You know, I'm not liking seeing all these names on one side of the list here. I don't know that I believe this, but I'll say it. I'm going to go with North Carolina State. Yes, playing a fifth game in 5 days. They're probably a little tired, but North Carolina runs through Armando Bacot, his ability to get to the rim as a post player. DJ Burns is going to make it really hard for him to spin baseline and get to the rim like Armando Bacot likes to do. I think DJ Burns gives Armando Bacot a problem today, and North Carolina is going to have to win this game from the perimeter. Yesterday, a guy hit a three, and he became the fourth player on the team to hit double-digit threes all season. North Carolina is not a great perimeter shooting team. I'm going with the Wolfpack today.
Okay.
All right. We're going to run through these real quick. Actually, we'll do run through them real quick. We got Mississippi State versus Auburn. Auburn, a 7.5-point favorite, played at 1 p.m. on ESPN. Tony?
I'll go with Auburn.
Auburn. Dwayne?
Mississippi State.
Marcus?
Auburn.
Donnie?
Well, I picked Auburn to win the whole thing, so I better pick Auburn.
picking Auburn as well, and we'll round it out with A&M versus Florida. Florida comes in as a 3.5-point favorite. The game will be played at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Tony, you picked Florida to win it all, so you got to pick them right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm picking Florida. I don't think A&M can shoot with it.
Florida.
They can shoot.
Marcus,
A&M.
Donnie.
They got too many big guys, man.
It's going with the Gators.
The chalk.
I had to swallow it to pick
I have a.
Carolina. I can't pick
I
Florida.
hate, I hate,
Same
that.
picking
I hate,
session.
yeah, I hate sitting here and having to think that I'm going to pick Florida, but then I think, well, Florida's coach doesn't run out to mid-court to call a timeout. I don't like Buzz Williams either, so I'm picking Florida.
Hey, he looked pretty good in that casual look. I think
yeah,
he'll go with that suit.
But Florida just have too much talent. That's blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle, Donnie. That'll do it for today's edition of the Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael at Loud Media, our host of the Blue Tick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Tony White, Dwayne Easter, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Mike Edwards, even though he's not here today. Until next Saturday, this is Troy Provo-Heron, the Boy Wonder.